Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League and welcome finally to the new season 23-24 of FPL guys, and this is our first stream of the season. I was just waiting for the community shield to finish so that I could start streaming, because before that honestly doesn't make any sense, because there's like a lot of chances of players getting injured and a lot of other stuff that kind of goes on, transfers, and so it essentially for me, I just keep collecting the data and stuff, and I always just like really seriously make my teams in the last 1 week, and since that week is upon us, and this time guys it's a Friday deadline for FPL, so it was time to get serious. And today I'm just gonna take you through the entire agenda of the stream, because since this is my first stream I have a lot of stuff to cover. So it's not gonna be like a question and answer stream, but more like an informative stream in which I'm going to try and compress lots and lots of information for all those who've still just like me haven't really got into the swing of things, right? So we're gonna discuss fixtures first of all, which is I think the most important aspect. Along with that, we're gonna have a look at how all the players performed in preseason and who were the MVPs in preseason. After that, we're gonna discuss the enablers, because whenever we want to make a team, the most important aspect of a team is the enablers, because they enable you to get all these Kanes and Salahs and Haalands. So we're gonna get through the enablers really quickly: the 4 million defenders, the 4 million goalkeepers, the 4.5 million forwards, the 4.5 million midfielders. And after that, just gonna discuss 3 teams, in which I'm gonna discuss one team which has no Salah and no Kane, another team which has Salah, and the third team which has no Salah but which has Kane. So I'm gonna discuss 3 drafts, and then I'm gonna just let you go through the various drafts and answer any questions that you might have. So that is the basic structure of today's stream. And just before getting started, let me just go to the chat and say hello to everybody who's here. So hey Jug and hey Fadzili, thank you so much for being here, guys. I know this stream was was unplanned, and I didn't give a lot of time. I just came live because I just wanted to kind of come on and kind of summarize all that I've kind of studied, researched, and so that you can use this information to build your own teams, as we now get into the sprint mode of building our teams as the deadline comes ever close. So hey Jugs, hey Fadzili, won't Kane be a transfer out when he goes to Bayern? It's not over yet. Well, if Kane goes to Bayern, then we'll just not use the Kane draft. But honestly speaking, I think a Kane draft needs to be made. He scored 4 goals yesterday itself. I mean, And the manager that Tottenham have got, he plays such attacking style of football, and in essence, I personally feel that at least we should have a draft ready in case Kane doesn't go to Bayern, and we want him because looking at the fixtures, I think you'd really want to have Kane in your team, even compared to Salah. So yeah, we're gonna discuss about that as well. But the question is, which draft is yours? That question will only be answered on the deadline stream, Fadzli. As you all know, we're evolving. We're like crunching the numbers. We're taking stats. We're taking information. So that will only become apparent once we come to the deadline stream. But guys, let's just quickly go ahead and have first. Let's have a little talk about the fixtures. So this is a slide which I've taken or borrowed, you can say, from Lego Mane. Is on Twitter at Lego Mane FPL, so you should follow him. I use a lot of his work, and I really enjoy looking at the slides that he makes. So I've borrowed it from him just for the purpose of demonstration. So guys, as you can see, this shows first of all, we need to see like which teams we want to target at the start of the season, because when we make a draft, it is not for the first game week, it is actually for the first 5, first 8, first 9 game weeks, after which we actually think about kind of wild carding, right? So if you see here in this spreadsheet, as you can see, Manchester City have a game sandwiched between the Burnley and the Newcastle game, which the game is on 15th August, and it's a European Super Cup against Sevilla, who won the Europa League, and because City won the Champions League. So you see there's like 3 games for City in quick succession right here, 11th, 15th and 19th. Not that it would make any difference, because I think we're all gonna get Haaland anyway, but just need to have a look at this. So for example, all of you who are looking at somebody like Watkins, right? Aston Villa have got a game. They've got a game in game week 2 against Everton. Then they've got a European qualifier, and then they've got a game against Burnley, and then they've got the second leg of the European qualifier before an away game to Liverpool. So they've got 4 games in real quick succession, and obviously you have to deal with this kind of stuff. Because when you like kind of get into these European fixtures or European tournaments, then you have to deal with more fixture congestion, so again, after game week 5, as you can see, they've got European fixtures. So if you really want to get Watkins, or you want to go for Diaby, you should keep in mind that they've got a lot of fixtures coming thick and fast, and with the Premier League games becoming longer and longer, with extra time getting added at the end of the games, there might be some kind of rotation issues. Maybe not with Watkins, but some of the other players that you might be looking at. All the other teams which you can see here, between game week 3 and game week 4, they have the Carling Cup round 2. So that's also but I mean, there's going to be a lot of rotation, so that's not really something to be concerned about. The main thing to focus on was this Aston Villa European fixture, right? After that, I'm going to take you to Fantasy Football Fix as well, and I'm going to show you which team have the best attacking and the best defensive fixtures as well. So this was something which we need to consider. Obviously, sandwiched between the game week 4 and game week 5 is an international break, and the second international break is after game week 8. So mostly people used to use their wildcards in the international breaks, because that way they got more time, as well as they they used to like use these 2 weeks for the price rises to catch some price rises, but I don't think that's a consideration anymore, to be honest with you. So this is about the European fixtures, which are sandwiched in between the game weeks. Also to notice here, guys, is I don't think too many of us would be going for Burnley or Luton players anyway, but if you're going to go for somebody like Amari, Bell or Bear, the 4 million defenders, you have to notice that they don't have a fixture in game week 2, so that is also something to keep an eye on as well. Just now, let me kind of, before I go take you to the hop on and hop off matrix by Lego Money, let me take you to Fantasy Football Fix and just kind of show you as to which teams have the best fixtures. I think we really need to talk about the fixtures before we before we start talking about our drafts, guys. So just a second. Obviously the Fantasy Football Fix website is not visible here for some reason. Just a second, guys. For some reason this always has to act weird. Can't even find it. There you go. Hopefully I should. No, not this one. Yeah, this I'm gonna show you this later, but I have to. Man, just a second, guys. I'm so sorry. I apologize for this delay. I'm gonna try to fix this real quick. I hope they don't tell me to sign in. They will. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the delay. Just give me a second. I'm gonna get this sorted here. I'm gonna have to turn this off. By the way, guys, I would like to thank our sponsors for the season. Fantasy Football Fix are our sponsors again this season. It is really helpful because we can use their stats and all the all the tools which they offer online on our streams, and they very kindly agreed to sponsor our streams again this season. So I'd like to thank them for that as well. Hopefully it should work, guys. Just give me a second, guys. I'm just trying to fix this, but for some reason it doesn't seem to be working. Damn it. Sorry, guys. So I just wanted to show you the fixtures, and I think which is really important before we actually start discussing our drafts, that we actually have a look at the fixtures, guys. So just give me a second here. I think I should get it fixed. There you go. Finally, man. Yeah, we've been sponsored by Fantasy Football Fix for the last 3 seasons. They've been very kind as to sponsor our streams. If anybody wants to take their membership, guys, I've got a discount code in my description as well. So let's go to the fixture planner and have a quick look at the fixtures here. Let's have a look at the first 8 game weeks, because after that there's an international break. I hope you can see this. Yeah, there you go. Right on, guys. Sorry for the delay. So if you look here, guys, if we sort by overall attack difficulty, according to Fantasy Football Fix, and the stats which they take is obviously from Opta. According to them, like, Everton have the best attacking fixtures. After that comes Chelsea. For example, if you look at Chelsea, not many people have got Chelsea players in their teams. Maybe because they're influenced by the first 2 or the first fixture against Liverpool, and most people, they pick players just by looking at the first fixture. So maybe you don't want to go for Raheem Sterling, maybe you don't want to go for Jackson. Nkunku's obviously out injured now, but if you look at the overall fixtures until game week 8, Chelsea have got some really, really good fixtures. For example, in game week 3 and game week 4, they actually play against both the newly promoted teams. Nottingham Forest was obviously promoted last year, but they play against pretty weak teams, and that also at home. So Luton, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, obviously not that easy, but still, Fulham and Burnley. So look at these fixtures from game week 3 to game week 8. And you want a piece of this. Of course you want a piece of this. For now, I still have just Chilwell in my team, but, these fixtures make you consider maybe you should get somebody like Jackson or not. Then Brentford again, they've got some decent fixtures sandwiched in between the tougher games. Newcastle away, Manchester United away, but then they've got Bournemouth, Everton, Nottingham Forest, so alright fixtures. Arsenal, they have decent-ish fixtures. Nottingham Forest, Palace, Fulham, then there's this United and Tottenham games, and sandwiched in between is the Everton Bournemouth game. So to start off the season, United again, like one easy game and one difficult game. Wolves, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Brighton. Then they've got this run of really decent 4 fixtures. Manchester City, I'm not really agree with these rankings because they're just essentially going to steamroll most of these teams anyway. So it's not concerned. And for all of you thinking about Salah, guys, for example, or thinking about Gakpo or Diogo Jota, look at this. Look at Liverpool's fixtures. The only reason why we want to go for Salah, or what makes me want to go for Salah, is this Bournemouth fixture, which is in game week 2. But other than that, guys, Chelsea away, Newcastle away, even like Aston Villa, Wolves is not a tough team anymore, but Tottenham away, Brighton away. So in the first 8 fixtures, 5 of these fixtures are like really, really tough ones. Actually, if you look at Liverpool and Chelsea, it makes perfect sense for a person to kind of take a Chelsea player, and ride the Chelsea team until game week 8, and then wildcard off your Chelsea players and go for Liverpool players. Because if you see Liverpool's fixtures beyond game week 8, let us say up to game week 19, then Liverpool's fixtures are really, really good, guys. I'll show you here. Just a second. So, where's Liverpool? There you go. See how Liverpool went up the ranking here, right here, because of the fixtures, guys. So Liverpool's on 4th, right? So, guys, look at these fixtures. From game week 8 onwards: Everton, Nottingham Forest, Luton, Brentford, Fulham. Obviously there's a game against Manchester City, but look at these fixtures, guys. This is insane fixtures for Liverpool after game week 8. So this is really the time when you want to jump on Salah. Everton, Forest, Luton, Brentford, Fulham, Sheffield, Crystal Palace. So these are the fixtures when you really want to go for the Liverpool players. So a good idea is to go for Chelsea players initially, and then to change to Liverpool from game week 8. Defense, obviously, Manchester City's defense is obviously the best. If you look at Everton, they're top for attack as well as defense. Maybe the fantasy football fix or the Opta stats don't take into consideration the previous season's form, in which Everton were not really good and they barely managed to scrape their relegation battle. But the fixtures look really good, guys. Fulham, Aston Villa, Wolves, Sheffield, Brentford, Luton, Bournemouth. There's just one big team in the first 8 games against Everton. So if somebody wants to look for somebody like Jordan Pickford, I don't think it's a bad idea to go for Jordan Pickford as a goalkeeper. We could expect like three clean sheets or 4 clean sheets from Jordan Pickford in these fixtures. Obviously Manchester City have got really good fixtures, and Manchester United as well. Although they've got these difficult games sandwiched in between the easier games, overall I think Onana should be good for 4 clean sheets in the first 8 fixtures for Manchester United. Chelsea, obviously, attacking wise, they've got good fixtures. Defensively, they've got good fixtures as well. Luton, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Fulham, Burnley. So unfortunately Nkunku's got this injury and he's going to be out for 2 months, but he was a really, really good option for Chelsea attack as well. Look, if you look at attacking fixtures for Brighton, they were not that good, but defensively Brighton got good fixtures as well. So somebody who wants to go for Estupinan, Luton, Wolves, West Ham, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, good fixtures for somebody who wants to go for Estupinan, Even you want to go for an attacker, which we're going to discuss later in the stream. I think they're good fixtures. Arsenal, on the other hand, they're pretty down in the order when you look at the defense, because they've got games against United, Tottenham, Manchester City. Even Crystal Palace away is not going to be an easy game as well. So so somebody who wants to like kind of pick Gabriel, you can think about going for somebody like John Stones over Gabriel, because City have a lot more potential for clean sheets as compared to Arsenal, based on the fixtures, And if you don't want to go for Onana, suppose you pick Pickford as your keeper, then you can think about going for Luke Shaw as well, or some United defender. So this is all about the basic fixtures, guys. And now I'm going to take you to the matrix, which is made by Lego Mane, which is basically known as the hop on, hop off matrix. This is very useful, in which it shows you the streak of good games, like as to when you want to hop on a team and when you want to hop off. So this is very useful. Actually, let me just go to the chat and say hello to some new friends who've joined. So Pavan says, good to have you back, Wiz. Good to have you here as well, Pavan. Lucas says, which option would you choose? Rashford plus Maddison, Rashford plus Diaby. I would choose Rashford plus Maddison out of these two. The third one, Fernandes plus Martinelli. I think I prefer Rashford to Fernandes. I think Rashford is a must-have at 9 million. I prefer him over Fernandes. But obviously Martinelli is better than the other two options as to Maddison and Diaby. So yeah, it's kind of a trade-off, but if I wanted to have one out of these, I'd say Rashford plus Maddison looks good. Hey Nehal, I hope you're doing well, my friend. That was my analysis of our fixtures too. 1 to 8 and 9 to 16. Defensively, do not touch Liverpool's attack till we sign a CDM. Reece on pen. I had a good moment with him last season. Rashford or Martinelli? Rashford. Mohamed Nazir. Always Rashford, bro. Alright guys, let's look at this Lego Mane's hop on, hop off matrix. It's really useful, guys. Look at Manchester City. So they've got this, like until game week 19, they've really got a good streak of 3 games, For example, the first game, or up till game week 7, you can give it to them, because they have like really good games in the essence that I don't consider Newcastle at home to be a really tough fixture, and I think City should be able to win that, But other than that, for example, Arsenal, they've got this Crystal Palace, Fulham, Manchester United, then they've got Tottenham and Manchester City, Chelsea's really tough fixtures. What we're looking here is for streaks. That is what is gonna we want long streaks of good fixtures, guys. That is exactly what we're looking for here. For example, Brighton first 3 games, so you can pick somebody like Joao Pedro, who's on my radar as well, and you can ride this wave of the first 3 games, and maybe later on you can switch to somebody else. Chelsea, obviously, I think even these fixtures are really good. Even Aston Villa at home and Fulham. So for the first 8 fixtures, guys, there's no doubt in my mind, Chelsea's fixtures look really appealing. Although they don't have like standout options as to who you should go for, except maybe Chilwell. But the fixtures look really appealing. Tottenham, from game week 3 to game week 5, look decent. After that, they've got Arsenal and Liverpool, which obviously you want to avoid. But if you want to go for somebody like Harry Kane, then you just have to play him and expect him to score in these big games as well. Arsenal, obviously the first game is against Nottingham Forest, but the next game is Crystal Palace away. Fulham at home is still a good fixture, but there's no streak, because after that there's Manchester United. Sandwich in between the Everton and Bournemouth games is the Tottenham game as well. So sorry guys, just this is for later. So this is kind of the Lego Mane's hop on hop off fixture. I think if it is difficult for you to see this one, we can actually just go to Twitter and actually look at it from Lego Mane's Twitter page. If you haven't followed him, guys, do follow him. This guy makes some really awesome graphics. Usually I prefer to make my own graphics, guys, but since I was short of time, there you go. I think this is better. This green one is better. There you go. So he highlights all the games avoiding Manchester City, Arsenal, Manchester United, Newcastle, Liverpool, Brighton, Aston Villa, Tottenham, and Chelsea. Right, guys? I hope you can see my screen. So look, this is I think something which is you'll be able to understand better. So all the games avoiding Manchester City, Arsenal, United, Newcastle, Liverpool, Brighton, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Chelsea. Although I'm not sure you really want to avoid Aston Villa and Brighton, but let's just assume that. So look at Manchester City, guys. This is absolutely fantastic for the first 7 games. No problems at all here. Alright, sorry for the wrong slide, guys. Just getting used to it again. That's the reason I opened Lego Mane's matrix here. So you see here, guys, the first 7 games for City are absolutely amazing. And right now, when I see most of the drafts, there's just one City player, maybe Haaland, in most of the drafts. I think we should go for at least 2. Maybe get John Stones, or even Ederson if you have the gut to kind of take a late loss of clean sheets. But the fixtures look really appealing for City. Arsenal, they've got Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Fulham. Sandwiched in between are the 2 games of Manchester United and Tottenham, but they are at the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal were really good last season. So Arsenal are looking good for the first 7 game weeks as well, technically speaking. United, obviously, they don't have a really good run until game week 5, after which they have a run of 4 games in which Burnley, Crystal Palace, Brentford and Sheffield United are there. Even if you don't want to consider this Manchester City fixture, I mean, from game week 6 to game week 13, they just have one big team, United. So this is the actual time when you want to jump on Manchester United. But even if you pick their assets from the start, I think you're good enough. Maybe this might make you consider not going for 2 of them. Maybe not going for Fernandes and Rashford and simply picking one out of the 2. That's also something which you want to consider, right? FPL MFZ says Guardiola will challenge Diaz or Stones. Well, he's a left-footed centre back. I think he would challenge the same place where Ake, Laporte, where they play. I think John Stones is much more versatile, and I think Pep really wants to play John Stones in most of the games anyway. So let's talk about some more teams who have good fixture streaks. So guys, Liverpool, I told you already, you want to jump on Liverpool in game week 9 and ride the wave until game week 16. Are really good fixtures for Liverpool as well. Aston Villa, again, I think they're good until game week 12. They've got some difficult fixtures in between, but overall they've got decentish fixtures. Brentford, they're good enough until game week 9. They've got really good fixtures. Brentford. Crystal Palace also, they've got like big game sandwich in between, but otherwise their fixtures look really good. Newcastle have got a run of 6 really decent fixtures in which they avoid all the big teams from game week 5 to game week 10. So guys, this is a matrix which you should consider. See, don't make your teams by just looking at the first game week. For example, if you look at the first game week, you might think that let's probably go for a, or maybe let's go for a player from 2 players from Manchester United. Let's go for Fernandes and Rashford. But if you look at the first 5 game weeks, they've got Tottenham away, they've got Arsenal away, they've got Brighton in between. They've got Wolves and Nottingham Forest given. But don't just look at the first 2-3 fixtures and make your decisions. For example, if you look at Liverpool's first 2 fixtures, you think, all right, it's Chelsea away, but then they've got Bournemouth at home. Why not captain Salah in Bournemouth home fixture? So, but you look at the next fixtures: Newcastle, Aston Villa, Wolves, West Ham is a good game, but then they've got Tottenham away and Brighton away. So, you kind of look at first 8 game weeks when you make your teams. So download this spreadsheet by Lego Mane and use it, guys. And now let's review this thread by FPL Architect. I found it very useful, guys. I hope you will do too. So this thread was very useful, in which he actually summarized all the preseason performers at the rate FPL_architect. So if you don't follow him, you should. I'm just gonna briefly take you through all of them because it's a long thread, and let's just quickly go through. Arsenal, as you see, the brilliant performer for Arsenal has been Saka, 2 goals and 2 assists. Although Trossard has scored 3 goals, and he did score in the Community Shield as well, although it was by a deflection. I am not sure if Trossard is a sure starter because he's fighting in the same place as Martinelli. So even though he scored more goals than Saka, I'd say Saka is currently like a must-have kind of player from Arsenal. Other than that, nobody's really impressed in preseason in terms of goals. So I'd stick with Saka. If you want to go with another Arsenal attacker, I would recommend you to go with Havertz, even over Martinelli, because if you saw the game yesterday against Manchester City, the way he was spinning around and shooting, Havertz, I think he's going to get some goals this season, especially if he continues to get played as the false 9. Aston Villa, obviously, Watkins, 4 goals. But along with that, you should also have a look at Diaby, who's 6.5 million and playing alongside Watkins in the front 2. And he's a new signing. He was really, really good in the Bundesliga as well. And he's hit the ground running. And hopefully he can hit the ground running in the Premier League. But I usually tend to avoid the players who join the Premier League in their first season. I always go for the tried and tested players, but obviously the 2 standout options are Watkins and Diaby. Obviously Buendia played well, 6 million. You can even think about him as an alternative, but for some reason I don't think Emery trusts Buendia, and he keeps rotating him, and his place I'm not sure is as safe as Watkins. Bournemouth, I would not go for any players from Bournemouth, but Brooks is scored 3 goals. But I really, would not go for any players from Bournemouth. Brentford, obviously, none of them have been standout. There's a shout out to go for somebody like Wissa, who's a forward, because Ivan Toney's been banned and he was not going to be playing. But the option that I like from Brentford really is Mbumo. Even though he scored just 1 goal, but he's looked really sharp in preseason the way they've been playing. I think he's going to be central to what Brentford do this season until Tony comes back. From Brighton, obviously they've got so much attacking talent, and they spread their goals around, so there's no standout options. Obviously Mitoma's there, but they've priced him at 6.5 million. If you want to, you can go with Mitoma as well. Welbeck has been playing as a striker in preseason, but they've signed this Brazilian João Pedro. He's a really talented lad. He used to play for Watford, and yesterday he took a penalty with Pascal Gross being on the pitch. So presumably we can assume that if João Pedro is playing and is on the pitch, he is the first choice penalty taker for Brighton at 5.5 million. So you can consider João Pedro. From Burnley, Brownhill is there. Bear is a 4 million defender who actually scored a goal in preseason, and he's pretty much nailed on to play as well, guys. So later on when we come to the section of 4 million defenders, I'm going to discuss Bear with you, but just keep a look, keep him on your watch list for the 4 million defender from Burnley. Jackson, guys, from Chelsea has been really, really good in preseason. Looked really sharp, scoring goals, providing assists. Nkunku was good as well, but obviously he's unfortunately injured now. But the player who should be taking your attention is Chilwell. 5.5 million, playing as a wing back, very far advanced, goal and an assist, clean sheet potential. Nailed in my team, guys. From Chelsea, because of the fixtures as we just discussed, is nailed in my team. Nobody else other than Chilwell I really considered. Jackson, I was considering Nkunku, but again, as I just reiterated with Diaby, I do not take new players who come to the league immediately at the start of the season. I wait for them to prove themselves. Only then I will put them in my FPL team. That is the reason I don't want to go with Mudryk or Nkunku. Jackson I like, but again, the parameter is the same, guys. We have to follow the rules. Crystal Palace, there's only one standout name. Actually, there are two standout names from Crystal Palace, guys. I would like to actually add the three players who you really want to consider from Palace. One is obviously Eberechi Eze, who scored 2 goals and provided 5 assists in the preseason. Obviously, preseason data is, you should compartmentalize the data and look at it with take it with a pinch of salt. But you should, kind of look at Eze as your 4th or 5th midfielder. He is really, really good, guys, in the preseason. And I think with Zaha gone, he's going to take more responsibility. With Olise injured, Zaha gone, I think the creative responsibility and goal scoring responsibility lies with Eze. Along with that, guys, this guy Ahmada, he's 4.5 million, the cheapest possible price for a midfielder. He scored a goal and provided 2 assists in preseason, and he's pretty nailed on. He played 90 minutes in 3 games out of 4. So this could be the 4.5 million player which you are looking for, which I was going to discuss later as well. But right now, when we are looking at these players, I would like to tell you now as well. So Ahmada is the player which you can be looking at as your 4.5 million midfield enabler in case you're looking to play a 4-man midfield. He can't be a starting player, but he could be a enabler. The third one which I was going to talk about from Palace is Johnston, 4.5 million goalkeeper, performing really well. I don't think Gaita starts for Palace. I think Johnston is going to be nailed on goalkeeper at 4.5 million for Palace. For Everton, I really don't want to consider anybody from Everton. Although DCL is back, he's 6 million. Everton have got really good fixtures. At this moment in time, I'm not really considering DCL. But if you want to get a player from Everton, I think DCL is the player which you want. They've got some really good attacking fixtures at the start. Fulham, obviously, you wouldn't really consider anyone. There were a lot of rumors about Mitrovic leaving for Qatar, and no player really stood out for me in their preseason. The only player which you could really consider from Fulham is the 4.5 million goalkeeper Bernd Leno, nailed on, starting goalkeeper at 4.5. That's the only one I would really actually consider. Coming to Liverpool, which is a team which many people obviously are always interested in, but maybe because of their fixtures, the interest is a little bit less. Salah scored 1 goal, provided 6 assists. Diogo Jota, which I'd not seen in any of the drafts, actually looked really sharp. Scored 3 goals and provided 3 assists. Darwin Núñez, 4 goals and an assist. Maybe it's time for him to come good and stop, wasting all those chances that are created for him. Gakpo scored a really good goal against Bayern and he looked really sharp in preseason. I mean, he could be a good option as well. Alexander-Arnold, I am not really going for Arnold. I don't think I can afford to get Alexander-Arnold at the start of the season. Yes, he's playing as that, adding an extra body in midfield, playing further forward. But at 8 million, the price is a little bit steep and would be difficult for me to afford him in my team the way my team is currently looking, guys. So standard options from Liverpool, obviously Salah's there, Jota and Darwin as well. Luton, obviously you don't wanna pick players from Luton. They look the weakest of the promoted teams, Luton, to me. But they've signed, if I'm not wrong, they've signed Marvelous Nakamba from Aston Villa, 4.5 million nailed on midfielder. So if you're looking for nailed on 4.5 million midfielders, the only two which I could really find and I really liked were Nakamba and Ahmada, which I've already discussed with you previously. Luton has got a 4 million defender who plays. I'm going to discuss with you later as well. So Manchester City, Haaland not scored in the last 6 games, not looked really sharp in pre-season, but it was the same last year. I mean, he was not looking sharp in pre-season, but as soon as the season started, it was just like he flicked a switch and he was absolutely a monster. So obviously he's going to be in all our teams, so no point in discussing Haaland. The point to discuss is the second or the third Manchester City spot, and for that I really like Stones. Some people have been talking about Foden, but I'm kind of not sure about his starting spot, and I don't really want to play the Pep roulette, because when I pick my team for game week 1, I really want players who are starting. So the only ones which I really considered are Haaland, Stones, and maybe Ederson. Other than that, I haven't considered. Yes, you can consider Grealish, but he's not an interesting or explosive option. That's the problem with Grealish. Alvarez could be good as well. You can have a look at Alvarez. From United, you've already many people have got 3 United players in their teams. People have got Rashford, people have got Fernandes, people have got Onana, Shaw. Some of you have got Shaw as well. I think 2 United players should be enough. Fernandes alongside Mount and Casemiro. They're playing a really good brand of, let us say, a counter-attacking football. United, they look like the United of old, in which they counter-attack really fast, and with players like Antony, Garnacho, Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes to supply the balls. I think it's going to be a really, really, really difficult team to play against United. So the players which I would consider from United are Rashford, although he scored just 1 goal in pre-season. Fernandes also 1 goal. I mean, Antony's gone a bit under the radar, but I still feel that out of United, you just have to go with Rashford. You can't pick Antony over Rashford, even though scored 2 goals and assist in pre-season. Rashford got just 1 goal. I think when it comes to the real deal, I think Rashford is the player to go for. Did look sharp as well in pre-season. Garnacho looked really good, guys, by the way. I have to tell you, even though he got just 1 assist, but he's been looking really sharp. Anderson, look at this. This is like typical pre-season stuff. Let me, by the way, go to the comments. I've not been reading your comments. Fadzali is the only one who's been making comments, actually. He says, I guess Onana is different than, since you have him. Now, I mean, I might not go with Onana in the end, my friend. Sean Dice said DCL is not fit. He played only 45 minutes. Is that United Chong playing for Luton? Tahir Chong? I have no idea, my friend. Honestly. Not even Diaz. I'm not sure about the Pep roulette, my friend. I just don't want to play the Pep roulette at the start of the season. Once maybe Guardiola comes in, we know who's the real starting player, then that's the only time I really want to go for a City defender. John Stones I was selecting because he can play in the midfield, he can play in that centre back role, he can play in that wing back role as well, in which they actually come inside and act as the midfielder. Bruno X minutes is better than Rashford with the new added time rules. That is true. That is true as well. But do you really want to go with Rashford and Bruno Fernandes is the question. If you want to pick both of them, then that makes total sense to me. But if you want to pick one United player, then it has to be Rashford over Bruno Fernandes. Right, going back to the fixtures, guys, let's really quickly go through. So the Anderson is 4.5 million, and I know a lot of people are going to be picking him as their 4.5 million midfielder. And you should as well. I mean, based on preseason stats, and he's been scoring goals. I mean, you can pick him, but I don't expect him to play in the Premier League that much as he's played in the preseason. Almiron's been looking good as well in preseason, but again, at 6.5 million, you've got options like Mbumo, you've got Eberechi Eze, so you got Mitoma as well. So I'm not sure if because of the fixtures, if Almiron is going to be really popular option. Even Isaac was end of the last season, almost everybody had Isaac. Again, because of the fixtures, I don't think he's going to be very popular. Nottingham Forest, nothing to ride home about, or nothing to brag about in preseason. But Nottingham Forest is offering a very, very interesting option. Arsenal's second goalkeeper, because Arsenal are signing David Raya from Brentford. Their goalkeeper Matt Turner, who's valued at 4 million, he's actually very close to completing his transfer to Nottingham Forest. So we might have a starting goalkeeper at 4 million, guys. So that is something to keep your eyes on. Although Nottingham have been linked with Dean Henderson as well from Manchester United, but I'm not sure if that move is going to materialize or not. So be careful and keep an eye on Matt Turner from Arsenal to Nottingham Forest, 4 million nailed on goalkeeper. Sheffield United, obviously they're not going to offer us any players like John Lundstrom anymore, guys. It was absolute legend of FPL. But they do offer us Baldock, who's a 4 million defender who plays most of the games, plays at right back, and has some kind of an attacking threat. You don't really expect too much from a 4 million player, except that he plays, and he does play. So along with Bayer from Burnley and Amari Bell from Luton, another 4 million playing defender is Baldock, so you just should keep an eye on him. From Tottenham, obviously today the news came out that Harry Kane is not going to Bayern München. They've rejected their latest bid, and Kane should have like 4 goals more. He scored like 4 goals yesterday in the preseason game. So he's looked really sharp, guys, and this is the reason. 1, he scored 4 goals, and 2, Tottenham have rejected Bayern's bid. So I am going to make a draft with Haaland and Kane at the end of this stream. Another one to keep an eye on is Richarlison. Udogie is a 4.5 million defender who's been starting. Along with that, you should keep an eye on Maddison as well. 7.5 million transfer from Leicester, looking really good in preseason, although he hasn't scored, but he looked really sharp. So you can keep an eye on Maddison as well. Richarlison, if Kane would have gone to Bayern München, Richarlison would have become very interesting. But for now, it was just a hat-trick in one game for Richarlison. So I'm not considering him, to be honest. From West Ham, obviously Jared Bowen, as always, is a decent enough option. Skamaka, I've heard, is not going to stay. Which brings me to Mubama. He actually is a 4.5 million forward. He's 18 years old and he's been playing, he scored goals, he's been playing. And other than this, the only option which West Ham have is Danny Ings, because Antonio presumably is, I was speaking to Nehal as well. He said he's not happy at West Ham and not really playing. So, if you want a cheap forward, Mubama is a good option from West Ham United, so you can have a look at that. Along with that, some people on Twitter have been saying, some West Ham fans, that the 4 million goalkeeper Areola might start ahead of Lucas Fabianski. I'm not sure how much truth there is to the rumors, but you should keep an eye on the 4 million goalkeeper Areola as well. Wolves, obviously, nothing much interesting. Ait Nouri scored a goal, a really good volley from the left foot, but other than that, not much interesting. There's a striker, Sasa Kaladic or something like that, because Jimenez is now gone, so he might get some more playing time at 5 million, but not much interesting from Wolves, to be honest with you. The fixtures are also not good. So I think we've gone through all the teams, guys, and let me have a drink of water and we can take the stream forward then. Harvey Barnes looks good, says Fadli. Harvey Barnes looks decent actually. A good transfer from Leicester. Definitely does look good. But again, Harvey Barnes was more suited to the counter-attacking style of football that Leicester used to play. I'm not sure how he's gonna assimilate in this Newcastle team, but let's see. I mean, Eddie Howe's got them playing really good. So guys, this was all about the preseason. I hope you enjoyed this coverage, my commentary along with these stats, which FPL Architect has really worked hard on to accumulate. They were really useful to me. So this, I've already discussed most of these players, but I would like to again reiterate, these are the enablers. So anybody who's looking for an enabler, I think I've somehow misspelled Mubama. I think it's not Muamba, guys, it's Mubama. But I hope you I hope you understand. And so yeah, just a second, guys. Yeah, so 4 million defenders, the ones which are really playing are Kabore, Amari Bell, Luton. Kabore and Bell, they are both from Luton, and along with that, Baldock, which I just discussed with you, he is from Sheffield United, and Bayer is from Burnley. So they're all 4 million defenders who we expect to play. Bell actually played 47 games last season, so he's absolutely nailed on, but he's a centre back, so not much attacking threat. Kabore, on the other hand, offers a little bit of an attacking threat, as does Baldock, and Bayer did score 1 goal in the preseason as well. So Baldock scored 1 goal as well. So these are 4 million defenders, guys. We're not expecting them to score goals. We're just expecting 2 points off them in case we need them off our bench. So these are the only plausible ones which I could find. So I just listed them here for anybody who finds them useful. Kabore and Bell from Luton, Baldock from Sheffield, and Bayer from Burnley. Then the 4 million goalkeepers which I expect to play are, as I already discussed, Arsenal are signing David Raya from Brentford. So Matt Turner is going to Nottingham Forest, and he's a 4 million goalkeeper. I expect him to play unless they sign Dean Henderson from United. Areola, I'm not sure if he's going to play or not, but just keep him on your watch list for now. 4.5 million midfielders. There is no Andreas Pereira this season, guys. Unfortunately, last season he was amazing. You could just play him in the easier games for Fulham. That's how good Andreas Pereira was last season for Fulham. And at certain point of time when Mitrovic was not playing, he was even on penalties, Andreas Pereira. This season I could not find as good players at 4.5 million, but we still want players who are playing, right? We still want players who are playing. So I'm recommending Marvelous Nakamba, who's transferred from Aston Villa to Luton, and obviously the second one which I already discussed was Nakamba. And Mubama, sorry. The second one which I already discussed was Mubama. Sorry guys. The second one which I already discussed was Ahmada from Crystal Palace. So these are the only two 4.5 million midfielders which I actually find interesting. Yes, you can say Anderson from Newcastle. I should have added his name here. So I haven't written his name in my table, but I'm speaking it now. So you can consider 4.5 million Anderson from Newcastle as well. So 3 names in the 4.5 million midfielder category: Nakamba, Ahmada, and Anderson. 4.5 million forward, I just could find only one, which is Mubama from West Ham United. 18-year-old, scored 3 goals in pre-season. So he's sharing his place with Danny Ings. Apparently Antonio is not happy and Skamaka is leaving, so that leaves them with just 2 strikers, which makes me think that West Ham might struggle this season, having sold Declan Rice, having no recognized strikers. so they might struggle. But Mubama for us as a 4.5 million forward, really good. Also discussed here is a 4.5 million goalkeeper list, in which I find only 4 goalkeepers at 4.5 million price bracket interesting. The number 1 is Pickford. I guess number 1 is because of the fixtures. He's got some really good fixtures at the start of the season. Along with that, you've got Bernd Leno from Fulham, nailed on 4.5 million goalkeeper. Johnston has looked really good in the Crystal Palace goal, especially in that game against Lyon. He made some really fantastic saves, Johnston. So you can think, if you want to go for a bit of a differential, you can think of going with Johnston. And now this is Flecken. I picked him because as I just discussed, that David Raya is going to Arsenal, so obviously Brentford would need a goalkeeper to play. So from the forums and from all the information which I could collect from the Brentford fans, they expect Flecken, 4.5 million goalkeeper, to start. And Brentford are a really good defensive team as well, so you can consider 4.5 million Flecken as well in your goal. So guys, we're through with the fixtures. We discussed the hop on and hop off. We discussed all the pre-season stats of the players and which players from each team are good. We discussed the 4 million defenders, 4.5 million midfielders, 4 million goalkeeper, 4.5 million goalkeeper, and the 4.5 million forward. Mubama, not Muamba. One more forward which is not really an enabler, but I would like to discuss is Joao Pedro from Brighton. Guys, he's on penalties, might not play the entire game. That is a drawback, but he looks really good. I mean, if Brighton start to click, I think he could get some decent returns, Joao Pedro. And at 5.5 million, I don't think it's a big enough risk. It's not a risk which you cannot take at 5.5 million. Right on, guys. So this was a brief summary. FPL Jug says Skamaka's already off to Atalanta for 22 million. Deal has been done. So he signed from Sassuolo, stayed 1 season. West Ham did not work out, and since Atalanta sold Holland to Manchester United, they've bought Skamaka for 22 million. So I think he came to West Ham at 45 million, Skamaka, and they've now sold him for 22 million. Just didn't work out for him, Skamaka. He was a really highly rated striker in Italy when he used to play for Sassuolo. Scored some really fantastic goals as well. But he's off to Atlanta, guys. So Mubama becomes even better. 4.5 million forward becomes a really good prospect if you want an enabler as a striker. Alright guys, so I'm through with most of my pre-season talk. I mean, now the only thing left is to kind of show you the 3 drafts, which actually make the 3 drafts right in front of your eyes. We're gonna make 3 drafts here, and that is the only thing left to do. And later on, if you have any questions, I would take your questions for a bit, and then I'm gonna obviously call it a day. It's been a long monologue, without inputs. But I think when you listen to this stream, or when you listen to this as a podcast even, I think this will give you a lot of information crunched in a very short time, which I've worked really hard to collect, guys. And thanks to obviously the guys on Twitter like Legomane and FP Architect, who help enable save some time when we kind of use these their stats as well. I think Ahmada is more nailed, Jugs. So guys, the first draft that we're gonna make is a no Salah, no Kane. I mean, this is my Kane draft, so the first draft obviously which you wanna see is the Kane draft. So let's just make the Kane draft. So Matt Turner, as I just mentioned, he's still in Arsenal, so they say too many players selected from Arsenal, but once he goes to Nottingham Forest, he'll be a 4 million playing goalkeeper. Onana, Baldock, Botman, Chilwell, Estupinan, Gabriel. I think if you want, you can replace Botman with some other 4.5 million defender. but I found him to be good. I mean, for example, if you like Aston Villa's fixtures better, you can think about going with Pau Torres as well. 4.5 million nailed on defender. Emery signed him from Villarreal. I just put Botman in here because of the fact. I mean, you can even think of going with somebody like Rico Henry from Brentford. Any 4.5 million defender. I mean, there's lots of options in this price range, but just went with Botman. In midfield, I've got Havertz, I've got Saka, I've got Mbumo, I've got Rashford as my playing players, obviously, and Ahmada as an enabler. So this is basically a 4-4-2. If you want to play two expensive strikers, so it has to be a 4-4-2. It could be a 3-5-2, but a good midfielder comes at around 6.5 million, and you cannot afford that really, unless you go for two 4 million goalkeepers and you go for two 4 million defenders, which I think might leave your team really, really thin. And you don't really want to put all your eggs in one basket. So I think this team looks balanced, guys. And we've got Haaland here, we've got Kane, we've got a 4.5 million enabler in Mobama, 4.5 million enabler in Ahmada, 4 million enabler in Baldock, a 4 million starting goalkeeper in Turner. Overall, this team looks good to me. So this team looks really good to me as a Kane draft. Obviously, you can make some more changes if you wanted to, but personally, I think that this team looks really good to me. This was one of the first drafts that I actually made yesterday, and I liked it. Obviously, there might be some changes, and you can. For example, now let me discuss the changes in this draft which you can make. For example, as a 4.5 million keeper, you can go for Johnston, you can go for Pickford, which enables you to kind of save some money, and then you can replace Gabriel with somebody like John Stones, and if you like, this is another draft in which you get two Manchester City players, and you can go with John Stones as well. If you like really big on, as some people are on Foden, you can simply replace Kai Havertz with Foden. So there's like multiple options in this draft, guys. Another option is to go with, like, let's say Gabriel. You don't like the look of Havertz and you like Martinelli more, you can go with Martinelli here. So this draft, if you kind of don't go with Onana and replace him with a 4.5 million goalkeeper, does offer you a lot of opportunities. Another way, if you like really want to go with Onana, you're set on Onana, what you can do is you can get a second let's say a player, a 4 million player, and you can get your 0.5 million from here, and then you can get Martinelli, you can or upgrade, you can keep Havertz, and you can upgrade Gabriel to Stones. So it's a pretty decent draft, to be honest with you, and we've still managed to get Harry Kane in our teams, guys, so that's pretty decent. Pau could share minutes with Dean. No, I don't think so. Pau's gonna share minutes with Dean. Dean is a left back. Pau Torres is a centre back, Jug. So I don't think there's any possibility of sharing minutes with Dean, my friend. Pau Torres is a centre back. So guys, this is the first draft. I've shown all the changes as well, which you can make to make this draft better. I had 3 Arsenal players here, along with Onana and Turner, obviously the 4th Arsenal player, and I had Botman here. So this was the Harry Kane draft, in which you've got 2 really good strikers, the highest goals, point scoring players in FPL last season. You've got Rashford, you managed to get Saka, then you've got this explosive Brentford player who's going to be a talisman, possibly on penalties as well for Brentford. You've got Havertz in here. You might like him, you might not like him, but from the Community Shield yesterday, I felt like when he plays as a false 9, he's got some real good goal threat. Does Kai Havertz. So these are the options, guys. Now moving on to the second draft. I hope you like this one, and you can use this if you want to go with Harry Kane. The second draft which I'm gonna make, guys, is obviously involves no Kane, and involves let us say, first let me make a no Salah draft as well, in which no Salah and no Kane are there. Let us go with Watkins. Then obviously we want to play a 3-5-2. If we're not going with Salah, we're not going with Kane, then we obviously want to go with the best formation, which is 3-5-2. Guys, just for the sake of simplicity, I'm selecting a 4 million goalkeeper other than Turner, because it just keeps showing that I've got too many Arsenal players. But consider Matt Macy as Matt Turner. So 0.5 million left. Stupinan, Botman. So you have to play 3-5-2, right? So so in this case, you've got 5 playing midfielders. Again, this in itself seems like a good draft, guys, but what you can do is, you've got 0.5 in the bank. You can take let us say another Burnley player, 4 million, and you can upgrade Mobama to somebody like Joao Pedro, and that way you'll have like real depth, and in some of the good fixtures you can actually play Joao Pedro as well if you want, and also you can keep 1 million in the bank. That is also an option. And you could the third option is you could spend this and like 0.5 million simply to upgrade from Gabriel to Stones. I've already discussed all these options, guys. You already know these options. This looks like a well-rounded, really good team, in which like the entire balance of the team is there, because you've got Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, Saka, Havertz, you've got Mbumo. Obviously, guys, 6.5 million, you can go with any player which you want. I've gone with Mbumo. You can go with Mitoma, you can go with Eze, whichever ones you like. I've discussed all of them on today's stream. That is totally up to you, which player you like in the 6.5 million bracket. That's totally up to you. But let's say a placeholder for 6.5 million is here. If you don't want to go with Stones, you could upgrade here. You could bring Foden in place of Havertz. If you don't think Foden's gonna play, you wanna get Martinelli. You can go with, let's say, Martinelli. If you like really want a Liverpool option, for example, you think like you don't have a Liverpool option, but you really want a Liverpool player. You can have but Jota's a forward in it. What? Where is Diogo Jota? Why can't I find... Oh, there you go. It's Diogo J. I mean, who calls him Diogo J, man? What the hell is going on with the FPL? I was like... I couldn't find him, guys. It was insane. So you can go with Diogo Jota as well. And this is a good option as well. And like, for example, if you don't like the look of Watkins too much in your team, you could actually go with Darwin, who's been on fire in preseason, and this way you can save 1 million in the bank. And you have 1 million in the bank, and you can, this enables you to go with such a strong midfield. For example, you could go with Madison as well. Look at this midfield. Look at this team. Even 7 million Richarlison, 7.5 million Madison. So this non-Kane and non-Salah draft, the formation which you're going to play is going to be 3-5-2, and it enables you to get all these players. See, this is what is variable. All the other places are in, even Havertz, let's say these 3 places are variable. All the other places you can fix. You know, your enablers are all, obviously, you know your enablers, Matt Turner, Baldock, Mubama, you already know your enablers. So whichever player you like, for example, you like Odegaard, all right, you go with Odegaard. You know, you like Eberechi Eze, you go with Eze. You know, you got 7.5 million. Obviously, you can't go with Watkins here because you brought an Odegaard, but then you can go with Darwin Nunez. You know, a really good option. You know, and if you want to go with Watkins, then simply just downgrade from Odegaard to Martinelli. So guys, I mean, personally, I'm not going with Odegaard, and I don't think Odegaard is the top one out of the top 3 options from Arsenal. It's too expensive for me, Odegaard, this season. But this is a draft which this is my no Salah and no Kane draft. You know, this is the second option, guys. The first draft which I discussed with you was the Harry Kane draft. The second draft which I have discussed with you is the no Salah and no Kane draft. Right now, we're gonna discuss the Salah draft, because some of you are like really hot on Salah and want Salah in the team. Even I am one of those people who really can't look past that game week 2 fixture against Bournemouth and think that we want to captain Salah in that fixture. Bournemouth at home, we want to captain Salah in that fixture. So let's just make a draft. Let's keep our drafts ready. You know, when push comes to shove, by the time we get to the deadline, at least we'll have our drafts handy, you know. And let me know which draft you like the best. Obviously, so you got Salah, you got Rashford, you got a 6.5 million placeholder, and let us just put Ahamada in here, guys. Right, 6.5 million placeholder. So we've got Salah, we've got Saka, we've got 6.5 million midfielder, we've got Rashford. So obviously you don't want to go with Darwin Nunez here, so we want Watkins. According to that, we need 0.5 million, which we can obviously take. We are playing a two. We're playing just hang on, let me check my screenshot. Let me check my screenshot, guys. I made a Salah draft which was looking really good to me, and I just kinda it skipped my mind. Yeah, so basically what I did was I did not put Watkins in here. I think I had put Joao Pedro. Yeah. I think this was it. So basically this gives you the option of getting Joao Pedro, who's got like good fixtures, but again, maybe, you know, you might be concerned. But if you get this draft, guys, you know, then you can even, like, let us say you can then you have Odegaard, or you can have Bruno Fernandes as well alongside here. Salah, Saka, Bruno Fernandes and Rashford, you know, look at this draft. Just have a look at this draft. Looks absolutely you know, well rounded and beautiful, you know. And you know, I mean, if we could get like if we could like, let us say if we take Pickford here, right? Let us say we pick Jordan Pickford here, or maybe like John. I told you all the 4 options: Johnston, Pickford, Flecken, and Leno. You know, I think you have to pick between Pickford and Johnston, honestly. Then you have the option to you know, upgrade Botman here, and you know, you can upgrade him to or you can actually upgrade him to a 5 million defender. Or what you can do is you can let Botman be here, and then you can upgrade Gabriel to John Stones. That is also a really good option. Because really at 5 million, there's not many defenders that you're seeking or you really want. But this gives you an option, right? For example, see, you can pick Martinez at 5 million from. You can pick Diego Dolo. Saliba you can pick. If you, because you're not going with Havertz or you're not going with Martinelli, you've got this one Arsenal spot open. You can double up on their defense. Ethan Pennock from Brentford, really good option. Gives you 0.5 in the bank, which you can upgrade Gabriel. So this gives you a lot of options, guys. Actually, this draft looks really good. The only position which I'm not happy with in this draft is maybe Ollie Watkins, but this gives you Fernandes, Salah. They're all like nailed on 90-minute players, guys, and this 0.5 in the bank still. We can upgrade him to some 5 million defender. Saliba, Dunk. I already got a Stupinan, Kilman, Delo, 5 million defenders. If we make this 5.5, then we won't have Saliba. Just for the sake of completion, I'm just gonna put in a defender. But you get the point, right, guys? I'm not here to spoon feed you with my drafts. I'm just here to tell you how to make these teams, and how I'm thinking about making these teams, and how I make my own drafts. Just for the sake of completion, let me put Martinez. At least it doesn't have an attacking threat at all, so I just don't really rate Martinez. Can I put Saliba? I really don't want to double up Arsenal's fixtures because they've got some tough games against United and Tottenham, but Dunk, no. Actually, there's no good 5 million defenders, to be honest with you, except Gabriel and Saliba. And don't want to double up on Arsenal defense. You want, you can. I don't want to do it. Not Kukurea. Never again, Kukurea. Stay away from my team, bro. Anyways, I'll just leave a placeholder. You can put in any defender which you really want. Let me just, for the sake of completion, let me just put Saliba in here, right? Obviously, we don't have 3 Arsenal players, so we can put Matt Turner in here. So I'm in, oh, you've got Gabriel. Anyways, Messi, get in my team. So guys, you see this draft looks really appealing as well. But the only thing is Joao Pedro is in here, in case, for example, you're really against Joao Pedro and you don't want Joao Pedro in your team, and you're like, no, I don't want him. So what you can do is let Botman be here, and then you can upgrade Joao Pedro. Then you can upgrade Joao Pedro to a 6 million forward, and at 6 million you get Vissa from Brentford, who is not bad an option, guys. He's gonna play because Ivan Toney's not here. The fixtures are really good as well. Look, if you look at the first fixture, like I told you, you don't have to look only at one fixture. Look at 2: Fulham, Palace, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Everton, Nottingham Forest, Burnley. So really good fixtures for you and Vissa as well. So you can go with Vissa, which I like as an option. But personally, I think in the lower price ranges, I think Joao Pedro is the player to go for. Akanji maybe at 5 million. I'm not sure about Akanji, my friend. Again, I can't say which City players are nailed on, so it's hard for me to call Akanji. So guys, we made 3 drafts. I told you and I taught you how to make your drafts, guys. We made a Kane draft, we made a non-Kane and a non-Salah draft, and we made a Salah draft. So I hope this will help you. If you ask me, just like Fadzali's been asking me all this while, as to which one is my draft out of them. I don't I don't have a draft currently, like which I'm set on. I've been making drafts, and I decided to come online and discuss with you guys, so that you could know what my thought process was, because I don't just want to come online right at the deadline stream and show you my team. I want to like discuss the stats with you, discuss the thought process, and then do the deadline stream, which makes a lot more sense in that case. So currently I'm leaning towards the Kane draft. uh, you know, I have Haaland and Kane both in my team, so I'm leaning towards Kane. If Kane stays at Tottenham, I think a lot more people will get Kane in their teams. Uh, you know, if somebody wants Kane, Salah, and a Haaland draft, they can make it. But for me, I think it's impractical, and it's not gonna work. Although, although a Kane Bruno Fernandes draft could possibly we could make it work. But you will have to sacrifice a lot in defense. So I guess logically a 6.5 million placeholder makes a lot more sense in this case. Yes, I mean, if you don't want to go for two Arsenal attackers, then I think you could go with Bruno Fernandes, and this, I think it can be so you play with 2 or 4. Yeah, even in this case you'll have to sacrifice either you have to sacrifice a defender for a 4.5 mil, or you have to sacrifice Onana. It can be done, but there's no ideal way to do it, to be honest with you. Let's just stick with the original draft that I brought here. Let's not tinker too much. I think let's save all the trumpets for the deadline day, which I know there's gonna be many, because picking the first team of the game week is always the hardest. So guys, it's been a very long stream today. It's been around 1.5 hours that I've been talking just by myself, although I do the talking mostly at the streams, but it's not like a monologue. It's more like a discussion. I read your comments, I give your answers, but today it was more me just trying to share all the information that I've been able to collect over these past few game weeks, by watching the games, by watching the preseason games, by watching the Community Shield, by reading the stats, by looking at all the players that have come in, and looking at all the players that have gone out. For the final draft, you'll just have to wait for the deadline, and I hope you'll all, even if you've not joined for the live stream, I hope whenever you listen to it, I hope you find it useful, and I hope it helps you make your final draft with much more ease, guys. So with this, I come to an end of today's edition of this 23-24 stream, and I just wish you all the best for until the deadline, making your drafts. Enjoy this time, guys, because this is the only time when all the FPL managers, they're optimistic and they're all happy. As soon as the game weeks start to pass and the time starts to fly, there comes regret, there comes fear, there comes hope, there comes greed, all type of emotions. Fear of missing out, fear of being invested, all these psychological situations, confirmation bias, gambler's fallacy, and whatnot, So this is the only time when all the FPL managers are cheerful, bubbly, excited, hopeful, optimistic, and so enjoy it while it lasts, guys. And soon the FPL season and all the twists and turns is gonna be upon us in the next 4 days from now. So with these words, guys, I end today's stream, and I thank you all for being here with me, and I will see you for the deadline stream. Till then, take care. Bye.